Amanda here with Homeschool and Life, and thank you guys so much for tuning in to our channel this week. Lauren and I just love being able to bring you guys these videos, and this week is going to be a review. I'm going to be kind of sharing my opinions on the Master Books World History. This time of year is a great time of year to go ahead and give your reviews and your opinions on curriculum, because most people are getting ready to buy their curriculum for the next year, and as the reviewer, it gives me a chance to really reflect on if the curriculum was good for our family. Would I recommend it? Would I use it again? Why or why not? Sometimes it's hard to tell those things when you first start a new curriculum, because you really need to just trust the process, finish it out if you can to see if it works, because some things, it just takes a minute to get used to. So history is, I think we've been homeschooling 14 or 15 years now, and history is my favorite subject to teach. History, our book basket times of family, read aloud, math, those are the things I typically enjoy. History, reflecting on all of our homeschool years, is the one that gives me the most fond memories of either books we've read together, topics we've discussed, or if you go down a rabbit trail of some kind of interest level on our history. So I really enjoy the topic and teaching it. So this year we went with the Master Books World History, and I can link to the video where we chose all of our stuff, but the reason that we chose that is because we have always used Story of the World. I think we went through that cycle twice. I know once for sure, and then some of the books we've done twice. I've used Mystery of History, and I've even used Sunlight for History. I had great experiences. I think for the second grade elementary years, for your American history, I used My Father's World, and that was really, really good. But this time my high school kids were getting a credit, they need one world history credit. And so this world history is from creation to today. So I chose it because it started basically from the beginning, goes all the way up till today. And I'm well, we've done, the history of the world multiple times. And so I wanted something for their credit that would almost be like a shotgun, a huge review over all the things we've studied. So that's why I chose it this time, because the Story of the World is broken into 4 books. I think Mystery of History is broken into 3, and you study each time period and you go deeper. And we did not grass last year for American history, and that worked out really well. I have a video to link to that. So anyways, I feel like we've done history well. That's my whole point in saying all that. And so that's why I chose this one. And with this book, I also got the teacher's guide that has all the worksheets and the questions in it, and I can flip through that if you're interested. I actually bought 2 of these because I don't like making copies. I think they were $20. So $20 to be able to give a sheet to, my 2 high school kids at the same time without having to make a copy was worth it to me through the year. But Lauren and I try to make a very big point to keep our channel very positive. I don't want a negative anything with our channel, really, but I want it to be very honest. And so I really struggled on how to do this review, because I love Master Books. We've done tons of Master Books things. We've done their science units. They are amazing. I'm pretty sure their economics, my daughter did it, and it was so informative. Anyways, we've done several of their things, and they're great. But we did not like their history. And so let me explain why. And again, I love Master Books as a company. They're wonderful. I will still absolutely order from them. But I feel like their history needs a little bit of revision, or maybe it just wasn't the style that I'm used to. So maybe somebody else loved it. So how they do this on their history is they would break it down into a country, and there would be 4 lessons on it. And each lesson was super short. It was a page. And then it would do the next one and a page. And so as it would go over, whatever history time period, I didn't really feel like it was in a chronological order. I felt like they were just making the high points, and there wasn't enough background information. So unless you were a huge history buff and you knew world history super, super good, you would get very confused on this. I feel like my family likes history, and we've done a good job at history. And like we had a very hard time following the book. Like it was way too jumpy in trying to grab the information they were trying to get you to have. And I felt like I would always, towards about a quarter into the year, I was like, okay, this is not working well for my brain. And I kept having to readjust how I did it. And towards the end of the year, I was basically just taking the country, and then I was going back to my Story of the World and Mystery of History books, and I was pulling out the chapters from those that match the country to go over. So I ended up not even really being able to use it by the end of the year. And so I'm trying to give you some examples of that. I feel like what I said is mainly it. Like, it would try to hit high points, but there wasn't enough like background knowledge or extra text or context that went with it to make you really understand it. And so when I went back to my Story of the World, Mystery of History, and those kinds of books, the kids completely got more engaged. But something I did like, I will say that, there's a few things I did like. Sorry, I should have things ready. At the beginning of each chapter, it would have, this is a chapter overview, this little section. Readers should be able to, and it gives like 4 or 5 things they should do, and then some like key people and places. So like when I would go to a new country, I would look at these things and I would kind of quiz my kids at the beginning to see what they knew and didn't know. And then I would go back to my other books to find those things. So, and then something else I did like about it is they have in this book, sorry, you can't see very well. No, it's blurry, sorry. They have the comparative world views, and so they took a lot of the world views, you know, from ancient until current, and then broke it down on what do they believe about God, what do they believe about man, sin, authority, and salvation. And if nothing else, this was like a super handy thing to be able to talk to with my kids. So like if we studied a country or, you know, a time period where they, let's be postmodernism, I could go to this chart and help break it down for them very, very easy. And I will say in the book, this book right here, a lot of their short answer questions were very good. Like enough to pull out some deeper thinking from your high school kids. But the way this book was laid out and the way they gave information was just way too jumpy and not in depth enough, which I guess if you're trying to cover creation towards modern, I didn't expect it to go in depth. I expected to just hit the high points, but the chapters were too jumpy. So, and even if I would have my kids read it, or I would read it aloud to them, or let's just say I would read it ahead of time to try to just like teach it to them, it was still, in my opinion, not cohesive and not clear. So if you're interested in it, I would definitely not just order it blind online. I would go to like your Mardells, or I don't know what you guys have around you, wherever you buy your books, that you could actually look at it, go read a few chapters like on your own before you decide to purchase it or not. I'm not sure what I wish we would have done. I mean, we finished and my kids did get their credit, and I do feel like they earned their credit, but this is not a history curriculum that I would recommend. And I feel absolutely horrible saying that on the internet because we love master books, but if somebody would have told me that on the front end, I probably would have spent a little bit more time while I was shopping reading through some of the chapters to make sure, like maybe one that I knew well or maybe one that I didn't know very well, to see if I would use it. And again, like I said, whatever time period or country, when I went back to the Story of the Worlds and the Mystery of History and just pulled out the chapters, the kids just got way more engaged. So anyways, I'm not going to say it was a curriculum fail, but would I recommend it? No. Would I purchase it again? No. But if you get it, would you learn? The teacher book alone is excellent. So what am I going to do for history next year? I'm not real sure. Right now, I always pick my older kids' stuff first, and then I trickle down to my youngers. And so I've already given them the world history credit. They honestly earned the American history credit last year from the U.S. history from Not Grass. because it was very in-depth and we did all of it, and I felt like they really, really learned it. So I'm thinking about, I'm not sure, you'll just have to wait until I do my curriculum reveals, but I'm really thinking about going back to a Sunlight style for a history credit and having the kids do all those reading. If you've never done Sunlight, it's really best if you don't have an extremely busy schedule. I was only able to do it 1 or 2 years, and that was when my kids were really young and they didn't have a ton of outside of the home activities, or like if we did, we were all together. But now the way everybody's schedule works is it's all different. It's crazy. Like, one has a practice first period because they play sports at the local school, or one's in the middle of the day, one's in the afternoon. So our cohesiveness as a family is not there as much. So Sunlight does not work as well, if you're the parent having to do all the reading and driving it. But now that I have, high schoolers, I'm about to have a sophomore, I could assign the books and then we could discuss. So I don't know. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I kind of enjoy thinking about the next year. So anyway, if you have any specific questions, I could do a flip through of the book, but that would be we did use it for a year, Master Books World History Review. Too choppy, too jumpy around, and not cohesive enough. Even in the flow of the 4 lessons they did for each country just seemed out of order to me a lot of times. But I do love Master Books, and so if you want to use their science units, I think that we have some science reviews on our channel. I'll link to them. We haven't had one negative about our science reviews. With Master Books, they've been wonderful. So anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning into our channel. Let us know if you have any specific questions or videos that you'd like us to do, and we are happy to do those. And just give us a like. We love getting likes, or just leave us a comment to say, hey, we're watching you. We appreciate it. So you guys have a great week.